control table, please? That's you, Dick. Rick. Oh, look at that. We got a 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I'm supposed to be at the internal control. 1, 2, 3, 4. We only have 4 people that are not old farts. Go, go ahead. Everybody smile. Okay, let's call the meeting to order. Everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Helen, would you like to lead us? To the republic which is made one nation and God with liberty and justice for all. Aaron?
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for getting us together again, once again. And I just thank you for the men around the table in the back that they were willing to serve their country and willing to volunteer to be on a submarine. And I just thank you for the work that they did, for the part that they had in keeping this country safe and free. I just thank you for the friendship and the fellowship in this group, and I ask your blessing on our meeting tonight, that you would give us wisdom in dealing with our business meeting, and also help us have fun as we celebrate our Christmas time together, this special time of year. Oh my God, get together and just love on one another and share. We just ask these things in your name. Amen.
USSVI Creed. To perpetuate the memory of our shipmates who gave their lives in the pursuit of their duties while serving their country. Let their dedication, deeds, and supreme sacrifice be a constant source of motivation towards greater accomplishments. We pledge loyalty and patriotism to the United States of America and its Constitution. Let's please remain standing for the tolling of the boats for December. USS F1, SS-20, lost on 17 December 1917 when it sunk after a collision with USS F3, SS-22, off San Clemente, California. 19 men lost. USS S4, SS-109, lost on 17 December 1927 when it was sunk after being rammed by the U.S. Coast Guard cutter Pauline off Provincetown, Massachusetts. 40 men lost. USS Sea Lion, SS-195, lost on 10 December 1941 by aerial bombs during the Japanese air attack on the Cavite Navy Yard, Republic of Philippines. 4 men lost. In keeping with the USSVI Creed, let us remain in a mood of reverence and respect while we take a moment to remember those submariners who have received their final orders and are now serving on internal patrol. The Rocky Mountain Base Internal Patrol list for December. James E. Everson, 12/01/2015. It's a moment of silence. Please be seated. On close. Want to do the horn? For most submariners, a submerged submarine provides a quiet and somewhat tranquil setting, free of many of the distractions present in the everyday surface world. So in keeping with that, we will take her down for a regular meeting. Clear the bridge. Take her down. God. Also, we do have a guest here today. Ann's son, and I've already forgot the name. Joel. So let's do a quick round of name and boats you qualified on or other items. Helen, do you want to start?
I'm Helen Pace, Associate Member. Chris, the North Carolina Congressman. Tired afterwards.
Greg?
Craig London, qualified on the USS Stamp, that's the 10-588, 1983.
Mr. Larry.
You brought it here, you need a blue ticket, come see me.
Yes. Got to get a blue ticket.
Clearing out qualified USS Narwhal, this is 1971, December of 1984. I'm the top, and I'm also the duties for.
Ann, would you like to give us a little background on yourself? Yeah. You're associate member now, right? Tell us about your first husband.
My husband was a submarine sailor, and he retired off of the USS Bay in 1972. And my son here served 24 years in the Army.
Ooh.
Where we met.
Oh,
He was my chaplain.
you all right. Yeah. Andy, you want to go ahead for it?
Andy Megerden, Associate Member, Fishing Chaplain of the USS Colorado. And I had the honor of laying to rep 15 members from this.
JJ.
J.J. McAdoo, qualified USS Sang SSN 674 in May of 1972. Also served on USS Henry Clay, USS Cincinnati, and USS Lake. Gary Francis, qualified on the Skipjack 585 in February 72. Also served on Flying Fish, Tecumseh, and Baton Rouge.
Bill Anderson, I qualified on USS Sailfish SS 572 in 1964. And I'm here with my wife, Kay, of 63 years.
Hey. Ray?
I'm Ray Svard, qualified on the USS Tuscan, SS 426, in July of 68.
Trying Got a Robinson with my lovely bride, Barbara, 56 years, right? My first qual was the John Adams, SSBN 620 in 1964.
Hey.
Michael Lewis, I qualified aboard Johnson Calhoun, SSBN 630 Blue, in 1968.
And Sean qualified with the Sanford Jack 1964.
Joe? I mean,
Jeff also qualified.
yeah, Jeff.
Berkeley Marshall, SSBN 654 Gold. And also on was a Daniel Webster, SSBN 626 Blue.
Now you dick.
Vaughn qualified for the USS Typhoon, SS 409 in December of 64.
How about?
Who's
that
lovely lady with you?
Yeah, lovely ladies.
My lovely neighbor, Terry Perillo, we celebrated her 98th birthday in October.
And she's also an associate member too. Mike,
Michael New, I qualified on the USS Queenfish SSN 651 in June of.
Mr. Grant,
Grant Day. I qualified on the USS Benjamin Franklin SSBN 640 Blue in September of 1969. I'm your treasurer and membership chairman.
you don't have to stand.
I'm standing. I'm okay. So my back's not so hot. Dale Bowman, I qualified sometime in 1968 on the Ulysses S. Grant Blue, and that good-looking lady right over there is your storekeeper and my wife of almost 50 years.
Ooh, all right. Dan,
Dan Ballard qualified on the USS Henry L. Stimson, 1987. I was on the 655 Stimson Blue.
Myra,
And I'm Myra, associate member, Air Force Nurse Corps, Vietnam era, and I'm here because I want to be.
and I'm Paul Leeds, the base commander, and I'm with my lovely wife, in red. 21 years for us. I qualified on the USS William H. Bates in August of 1974, then went to the La Jolla and then the Tennessee. Okay, we don't have a speaker today because we're doing our gift exchange. And next month is our auction. So if you have some good items.
We got a camera up here, so we got to keep it.
Okay, sorry. So just remember that we need, what we're doing is we're bringing some of those gift cards that you can get at Costco for $100 gift card for $75 or something like that. We're bringing something like that to help raise money. Remember, everything goes to our general fund. Also, speakers, if you guys have any ideas and speakers, we don't have Robert Williscroft here. I'm fairly certain that he had another lecture that he wanted to possibly give to us. So Tammy has got a bunch of stuff, I think. Do you have a list?
No, but I know.
Okay.
So I did, Tractor Supply in Lafayette gave me a Carhartt, a really nice Carhartt jacket. I got a $50 game card from Top Golf to play for one of their booths. I got $100 from Shields. I've got something coming from Fedor Billiards again. He was out, so he told me to come back. And I'm waiting to hear from Cabela's and from the Avalanche and
Race truck. Colorado National Speedway.
and the racetrack, Colorado National Speedway tickets. I'm waiting for those three.
Oh, good.
That local stuff.
Yep. So if anybody else knows of anybody you could speak to, donations and stuff like that, go for it. Bring it in. Now, I was going to bring some of the items that we got from our historical, basically the World War II gold diggers. But then Dale, when they went out for his reunion, what was that, about 4 months ago or so, went out for a reunion in St. Mary's, which is where the big Fleet ballistic missile base is. There was a museum in there, the submarine museum, huge place, really nice. And so I decided that what I needed to do is some of those items would be more fitting to be in a museum than somebody purchasing it and putting it in their closet or a drawer or something like that. So I've already contacted the museum director. He hasn't gotten back to me yet, but we'll go ahead and take pictures, send things out to him. The other issue was that big model that we have that Dave Linker made. It's almost 5 feet long. We tried transporting it to several of the camps for kids, but every time we stuck it in a car and drove anywhere, something broke off. It was just, I mean, when I finally got it to that John Iannoli, he did some repairs on it. The whole conning tower had lifted right off of the thing. And so if we can figure out a way how to package it up so it won't get damaged during shipment, then we're also thinking of donating that to the museum. And they were very interested in having that, be able to display in the museum.
Yeah, I think you ought to check with Linker about.
Okay, I'll give him a call. That's a good idea. I just know that before long we would destroy the thing, and it was it was really a fossil. Okay, Aspen Crossing Parade, that happened like 2 days after our meeting. Aspen Crossing was an elementary school, and then Sky Blue was the middle school that was just across the up the road a little bit. Several of us went there kind of early. Grant and myself went early, and we were in front of the kids. They had us in one big room. It was their music room or something like that. And I don't know if it's the same way with Mission Viejo, but they gave the kids little slips of paper that had questions on it. And they were they were trying to teach them stuff. And so same kids were asking the same questions as each classroom came in. And then the people that were there had kind of a bullet type answer for each one of the questions, pick up your room, do your homework. It was basically a learning situation. So Grant and I came in, and they were all excited to have us come in. We sat down, and I went, "All right, who wants to have some questions about submarines?" About 15 hands shot up immediately, and the first guy wanted to know about why they didn't sink, once they're under the water. And Grant did a really good buoyancy thing with the balloon and water and all that kind of stuff. And the kids were really getting into it. There were questions that they thought of and they wanted to talk about. But one of the members said, "Oh, we got to get back to the program issue." So was Mission Viejo that way? Did they have preset questions?
We went into classrooms and Grant gave lessons on physics to couldn't
Okay.
figure out why you couldn't have a screen door on
So I don't know if we'll be participating with them next year, but we did the parade. The parade was okay. It was kind of small and it was very short. But as we came around the corner to where the middle school was, the middle school is seventh and eighth grades. There must have been 200 to 300, 300 or 400 kids. The entire school was emptied out, and they were all along the road. And as we made the turn, they started screaming and yelling. And I couldn't even with us trying to yell dive, dive in the Yuga horn, they couldn't hear us. I mean, they could just barely hear the horn, let alone they were just screaming at the top of their lungs for the whole time as we went by. So that was kind of nice, but the issue is it's quite a ways, quite a drive, and we'll have to think twice about it. But we definitely want to do the Mission Viejo, and the other one is Patrick was the one telling me about it. It was another Cherry Creek school that puts on appreciation for veterans and for active military. And there it's just a display. So they were interested in us having our float just up there so the kids can go around and look at it, push the horn button and stuff like that. So that might be one that we'll want to get involved with. Okay. Oh, the first brewery. We had 15 people showed up. It was a pretty good time, I thought. The food was really good, and how was the beer, Grant?
Excellent.
Excellent. the place is nothing but, I mean, it's a huge thing. It's about the size of a football field. 2/3 of it is the brewery. Just flasks and those big tanks and everything everywhere. And they have about 30 or 40 different ones, something like that.
Well,
But it was,
the bottling there too, like they have bottles and cans and all that stuff. So
so it was a pretty good time. I enjoyed it. But we did only have 15. Next time, hopefully we can get a little bit more. Okay, Western Roundup. We had our meeting with the Western Regional Roundup Committee December 5th, I believe it was. And it was mainly just for us to get introduced and to understand a little bit about their process. Most of the executive board was there, and it appears that they kind of, once the sponsors were there, that was the Long Beach, LA, and Pasadena um, committee was there, or their base was there. And I don't think they said one word. The guys that are running the thing have done probably 10 or 12 of them. And they pretty much run just about everything. I think what we're going to do is pick a location, give them ideas of things to go to, Central City, Blackhawk, Red Rocks, tours, or different areas that give people ideas. The particular meeting that we attended was where they were deciding what kind of breakout lectures we're going to do, and we had to come up with 5 or 6 things, and then they decided on 3 or 4. So we may need to do a lecture or run a workshop. They were the ones that got the speakers for the big meal on Saturday night. They got somebody from the Reagan Museum that's going to run a talk and a film on submarines' role in President Reagan's fight against the Soviet Union back then. And so I think it's going to be real interesting. Right now we have 5 people signed up. Julie's brother is going to join us.
cool.
Yeah, so there'll be 5 of us so far. No Jack, huh? Okay, so this is something that we're going to be talking about on, and we are going to have a separate meeting with just the board members and our executive board committee on January 11th to discuss our roles and as a sponsor. I have called and asked, I called Brian Bell, he's a District 2 commander, and I called Kevin Graham, and he is the base commander for the Southern Colorado base out of Colorado Springs and Pueblo. And they also wanted to join us. So they were in the meeting also. So we're going to combine the two. We'll probably have to do things like they have a, what do they call it, a hostess room or a what's hospitality room is probably needs to be manned for probably 4 or 5 hours a day, things like that. And yeah, I'm not sure exactly how it all works, but
So what are the dates?
we haven't picked it out. It's 2027. We have discussed that we want it late enough so that we don't have all the snowbirds coming in. So we're thinking late April, early May. But that's all stuff to be determined. But basically, this committee, that when they go and go bang, and they take it over and they run with it. They do all the contract negotiations, set up speakers, do all sorts of stuff. It's like I said, the sponsor committee didn't say anything during the whole meeting. They just listened. So I don't think it'll be something terribly hard for us to do, and it has the advantage of making some pretty good money. like I said, the Seattle group or base got $4,000 when it was all said and done. And so we'll see how it goes.
Well,
Yes,
one thing we really want to emphasize is that this is an all hands event.
yes,
You know, it's not just one or two of us that's going to handle this. We need everybody to think about a job that they would be willing to do sometime during this 3-day span that this event is going on. And just to give you a little idea, you know, we have been discussing, you know, well, what hotel would we want to put this thing in? And we've had ideas from the Sheraton West to the Marriott West as potential venue sites. So if you're out and about and you see something and you think it might be interesting, take and write it down and get it to us, because we're open to all ideas at this point about anything, even if it's about a lecture that you'd like to have somebody talk about. You know, during this, it was 3 days, and you know, what is it, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, so that Wednesday and Sunday are travel days, you know, to help us out along the way.
yeah, it'll definitely take the whole group of us.
Question, sir?
Yes,
Could you put something in the newsletter about all the things that might be, all want to volunteer for, so we can pick and choose?
that sounds like a good idea. I'll talk to, oh, the newsletter tag's right there.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the website.
Okay, information.
Jeff. So what we'll do is when we have our meeting on the 11th of January, we'll pretty well spell things out for us. I will write things down and I'll send that out to you so we can disseminate it amongst everybody.
You did on both sites, website and.
Yeah, and Patrick's not here, so. Okay, let's talk about our Saturday meetings. So we thought we had everything figured out. Yes. As you know, this is how things go. But we went and we met with the Post 17. We met with their post manager. Um, their facility is almost identical to this. It's just a tad bit smaller. They got everything on there we need. Everything worked out good. And we wrote up what was called a memo of understanding so that both parties understand that they expect this and we expect that. And then Dan here suggested to me that we really needed to. So I talked to Kathy several times. She was the post manager here about Saturdays, and she just flatly said no. So I talked to the new one, who is Beverly, and you met her. She was the one taking our money, and she initially said, "No, we can't do that. We can't support that." And I said, "Oh, okay." So I thought with that, what I really needed to do was try one more time talking to them about why we needed Saturdays. So I sat down just now talking to her and I said, hey, I says, our membership's dropping like a rock. Saturdays are about the best bet for us to get new members in. Old members who can't drive at night will then now be able to show up on Saturdays. And her words were, I'd much rather do a Saturday than a Wednesday night. And I went, what? I says, okay. And so she wrote it all down in her little book. And I says, okay. I says, I'll call you or you call me in the next week and see where we go with this. And then Bill Jackson, who was one of their executive board members here at the Post, the guy in the black shirt, if you noticed him out helping, he cornered me over here. And the first thing he wanted to do is he wanted to apologize to the fact that last meeting we only had burritos. He says it had been eaten them up for a month that they weren't prepared to give us the full menu that we're normally used to. And I told him it was no big deal. The burritos were good. Everybody enjoyed it. It went fine. And so I says, and then I said, and what are you? And he says he's an executive board member. And I said, well, let me tell you this story. So I told him the same story. And his exact words were, I would much rather do a Saturday than a Wednesday. And I went, oh. And then he says, it's up to Beverly. Whatever she wants to do, we'll do. The only drawback they have is right now they don't have a cook for Saturdays. Well, she also said they don't have a cook for Wednesdays either. So she has a harder time trying to get somebody in on a Wednesday night than she does on a Saturday. In fact, Bill said, hey, I'd much rather come in on a Saturday to help cook than on a Wednesday night. So I think we're in a pause with the post 17 until 161 comes back to us. We've been here for 20 years. The majority of the members is also post 161 members. Post 17 is a great place, a great location. They were willing to step over backwards for us. But I think if push comes to shove, people would want to stay here. Do I have anybody have input on that? A vote? Do people want to stay here if it's possible?
Yes, I would vote.
Yes, I think that been the feeling from the start that if we could have worked it with here, then it's the best deal for us. So, with that all being said, I'm hoping to give some more updates within the next week or so. Anybody got any questions, comments, answers, whatever? Yes, Jeff.
When would that start? In February?
If we're here and then they're agreeable to it, we could probably do it starting in January next month. But again, it all depends on if they can get the cook they need or the volunteers they need. And I think we should do a memorandum of understanding with the post here too. Let them, if that's agreeable to them, then I'm thinking February might be the earliest we can pull it off.
Are you still looking at the third Saturday? Is that still the target?
It's up to the post.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the reason why post 17 said the third one is because they already have other things planned, and that third Saturday was the one that was open most. On that day, their rental is in the evening, where they have it rented out in the evening. Since we were 11 to 1400, then it worked all right for them. Jeff.
So if we go on Saturdays, what would we do if we had a parade scheduled that day? Would we just not have a meeting, or would we move it to a different?
I think that we would have to leave that parade or forego that parade. It's something I think we'll have to wait until we get a final date and see what happens.
I don't think now looking at on Saturday. All year round on a Saturday morning?
Yes, definitely. How many people enjoyed driving through the traffic tonight? Larry, you enjoyed it?
All the time. There was no traffic.
Yeah, that's a good time.
Took me an hour and a half to get here. Yeah, so on a Saturday morning, it's nice. It's an off-peak time. It's not
30 minutes.
And the other big thing that we really enjoyed when we went to the post and we sat and talked to Leslie for a while, and then we said, okay, we're all done. We got everything figured out. We'll do this X, Y, and Z. And then it was, well, let's go to the bar and have some beers. It was 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So we sat around for what, Ray? It was about an hour and a half just shooting the shit and telling sea stories. And it was like, if we have our meetings on Saturdays, we get done at 2 o'clock. We can wander on over and watch some college football and drink some beer and spend another hour shooting the shit telling sea stories. So I really feel that Saturday is what we need. Okay, let's move on. 2026 is our 50th anniversary for the Grayling Memorial. We'd like to install that plaque. Remember, the old flagpole had two large stanchions that came up out of the cement that held the pole in place. We're gonna cut those off 45-degree angles. Is that what you said? Something like that. And then want to mount a plaque right there. And we want to do that plaque to memorialize our 50th anniversary for the whole memorial, and also a dedication to those people that were really responsible for getting that new flagpole. So we're looking for designs. Does anybody have any ideas? What kind of, we're going to do it out of a brass plaque. What did you say, 12 by 12 or?
Well, it depends on what our design comes out to be, it's what the final dimensions
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
So, but it's something between, 11 by 17 or something like that. So, because if we've got plenty of room, we can make the backing of whatever size we want. And there's, to my knowledge, no limitation on how big we can make this thing. We would probably make it 3 by 6 foot if we wanted to. But that, then we'd have to take and have a fundraising drive to take and pay for that.
Okay, so if you have ideas, bounce around in your head. We want to be able to have it finished, figured out, and installed before our memorial on 2026. Okay, so it gives us a year and a half or so. So let's think about it.
So you can feed your ideas to Paul and think about a deadline of, let's say, July 4th this year to get the ideas in so that then we can hash around and get.
And also look for costs and stuff like that too, depending on what the design is.
Then we can determine what it is. And then we have to put it back, make the design and bring it to you for approval.
Yeah.
So it's not like, you just send us a design and they're going into a hole. We want to take and put this together and bring it to you with some concept drawings and get approval. And then we can talk to the foundry to get it done.
The current memorial, correct?
Yes, right by the
Right
flagpole.
in front of the flagpole.
Yeah, centered in front of the flagpole.
So if you remember those big stanchions that were on the back where the flag mast was, right? It'd be right there at an angle facing the flagpole. So as you walk around behind it, you've got an attraction there to take and bring them there.
And if you notice that, I don't know if you guys have been out taking a look, but when they lowered down the flagpole, it twisted a little bit. It took one of those stanchions and moved it out an inch or so and broke the cement. So sometime this summer, I want to talk with people about who know cement work. And maybe we can put a border around it and make it a nice square thing. Right now, it's kind of an oblong thing with a big crack down one side of it. So I'd like to make that look a little bit more prettier too.
Prettier.
Prettier. Okay, this is the time of the annual audit of the treasurer. Myself and Dan were the ones who did it last year. Do I have any volunteers to audit our treasurer? Basically, what we did is we met here. He sat down, he showed us a year's worth of the books. We just went through and made sure that number matched that number. All input was what he showed and what output is what was there. Any volunteers? Oh, Gary. And I'll volunteer again too.
Okay.
So what I'll do is Grant it will
Fun. Because I got to do an annual here and it's got to be done by January 15th. So.
Oh, does it?
Yep.
Okay.
Didn't they
Early
teach you
next month.
anything at the academy? Never grown about.
My Rotary Club, so I know basically.
Okay.
Well,
Now, I'll let you know that he uses, what is it, Quicken books? And it's very organized, very in order, and I just like, somebody spent some time working on that. Okay, and the meeting only took us about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we hit the bar. Yeah.
we got a line report.
Well, that's up to Grant.
No, you guys do.
We do?
Grant did.
Actually,
Well, what did we do?
the report was a one-page document that I had initiated and you just signed it, that, you check this, you check this, you check.
Okay, yeah, that.
You did a fine job.
Okay. Minutes of the last meeting. If there's no corrections to the minutes from our last meeting as put out by a newsletter, anybody have any corrections that look good to go, then we'll accept it as is. Mr. Grant, Treasury report. We're gonna, as soon as we breeze through the rest of this, we'll go ahead and do our present. Oh, we'll stop for coffee and cake, then the presents. Do I need to sign something?
Yeah, 3 of them.
Okay.
Hi,
Not yet, but I'm hoping.
I'm working on it. Yeah, you have to catch up. So for the month of November, we actually ended up being ahead. So we had on income, we had $327.65. Most of that was dues payments, of which the $45 that we collect for dues, 15 of it stays here at the base, and 30 of it I have to write a check and send it up to national for everybody that comes in, except for the life members. So if you're not a life member, part of the money goes to national. So we started $327.65, and we only had $27.63 worth of expenses during the month of November. So that gave us a net profit of $300.02. So November was a good month. We continue. We're just about done with the lift for the trailer, so that we'll be able to take and have another work party that we can take and rebuild the trailer so that the lift can be installed, so that we can then only need 2 people to run the trailer instead of 6 or 7 people to lift the boat up into its traveling position. Yeah, it would be nice to have people riding on it,
This won't have to work. All right.
But this lift will be able to lift that baby up. And also it's designed so that it has the capability to do both models once we have both of them done with slight modification. So that's coming up when we have good weather during the winter, if we ever do. We'll see if we can have a rapid deployment of a work party to take and get this thing going. Any questions about the treasure? Good, thank you. If you want to take a look at the books, they're right over here during the break or after the meeting. If you want to take a look, come on up, say hi.
Wow.
Hi.
The dues payment feature work.
Zelle?
The Zelle dues payment feature.
Yeah.
It makes my life and your life a lot easier, because when you send that payment in on Zelle, you instantly get a reply saying you made a payment to Rocky Mountain Subvets, and I get an email saying you just got a payment. So, and the record is there, so if you have Zelle capabilities, use it.
Okay, committee reports. Tammy, got anything about the teddy bears? How many people saw the email about the teddy bears? Caps for Kids?
We need Caps for Kids chairman.
We do. I got a phone call from Gene Keller, was that about 3 weeks ago? He got a phone call from the National Caps for Kids chairman. Wanted to know what was happening with the Rocky Mountain base and their Caps for Kids. So he got the whole story from me, and he was going to try to call Kathy Iannone and see if she's back in town or not, or whether she's still taking care of her mother. And but he hasn't gotten back to me, so I think I might give him a call this week and see if he's made any progress. But we still need somebody that's able to step up and chair Caps for Kids.
Oh, one more thing. In the website, And for the last year, actually 2 years, I've been saying that if you didn't pay your dues by January 1 and you were taken off of the rolls, that you would be responsible for a $5 reinstatement fee. Well, it turns out that that was a process from the old regime in Bremerton, Washington. National has advised us now that that is not the way it is. So there's no reinstatement fee if you don't pay your dues. However, it's a pain in my butt. So please, most of you have paid your dues. So I just wanted to let you know that we have corrected that on the website, that it no longer shows that there's a reinstatement.
Is there a drop dead date? January 30th you have to be paid by, or?
They have month of January is a grace period.
Okay,
So if you haven't paid by
February 1st?
they'll take you off the rolls, which means you're off our rolls too. Then you'll start getting nasty grams from me.
Okay, so for those of you that saw the bears, they're little cute little bears. There's a blue, one's for boys, one for girls. They have a little vest with different colors on them and stuff, and it says Caps for Kids, honorary submariner. And the guy that sent out the message talked about how it was really a big hit with the kids. And so we were thinking that if we bought some for the Caps for Kids, then we could also sell some. It cost $6.75 or something like that for a bear, and then they were selling them for $10 at their storekeepers. Anybody interested in getting a little bear like that for kids or grandkids or anything like that? Well, I guess we're not going to be purchasing any of them for the store, but we might want to consider purchasing some for the Caps for Kids. Okay, Webmaster Patrick's not here. Remember, if you have photos or information, send to him and to Jeff, the newsletter editor. Caps for Kids, we talked about already. Bingo! It is December 18th, Wednesday at 10 o'clock. Anything different, Andy? Still say everything set?
We'll just pay attention to, a help alert if something's coming.
Okay.
People know it's so.
Okay, and show of hands on people who's going to show up. Barbara, you guys going to make bingo? Patrick Krause said he was going to make it, and Dennis, and unfortunately I got a doctor's appointment, so I'm going to miss this week's. So we still got about 7 or 8. I know Gene always shows up. Talked about that. We talked about the float. JJ, anything from Colorado?
What can I tell you about Colorado? They just promoted. They got a bunch of folks got promoted. If you remember, the MM1 who was here, Raj, he got promoted to chief, and there are a bunch of others which I can't tell you all what they were. Also, my wife Florence is going around and got a bunch of cards signed. So she's mailed off a pack of Christmas cards to the boat. Haven't heard too much directly from them since change of command. We're looking at trying to plan a crew visit next year sometime to be determined, and maybe a visit to the boat as well. But it's kind of a little sports here. So that's about all I have.
Okay, so this Saturday, big day, Wreaths Across America. Remember the old motorcycle group that we used to have? Reason why those tables are turned around funny? For the last, has it been 6 or 7 years now? We've been doing Arvada Cemetery. So we're supporting the Daughters of the American Revolution at the Arvada Cemetery. And then on the morning of, we will do breakfast at McCoy's, starting at 8 o'clock. Then at 10 o'clock, we have to be there at 9:30, but at 10 o'clock starts the ceremony at the Arvada Cemetery. That usually lasts about an hour. We're the ones that present all the wreaths. They have one for each one of the branches, including merchant marine and, merchant marines. And then at 12:30, we have the specific wreaths for our members that are in Fort Logan. And you'll be able to send me out exact location again so I can send it out to everybody.
For those, same place.
Yeah, so by 11 o'clock, then we can, and from the Arvada Cemetery to Fort Logan will probably take us about 40 minutes or so to get there. We'll probably be a little early. We can wait when the truck comes in. It only takes about 15, 20 minutes to, she really has it organized great on, she has them, the headstones grouped in an area, so she'll give you 3 or 4, and then you know that particular area. If you find that the person already has a wreath, what I did 2 years ago is I just walked down the row until I found a Navy guy. And I went in, put the wreath there, and gave him a salute. So once that's done, hopefully we'll be done around 1:45 or 1 o'clock. Then it's the Army-Navy game here at the post. The game starts at 1300. It's a potluck. The post supplies chili and hot dogs, I think, and then everybody else brings all sorts of stuff. We usually have a pretty good turnout for the sub vets who are always rooting for Navy, but there's always at least 6 or 7 or 8 Army guys floating around. So we we have a really good time, and that'll probably go till around 4 o'clock or something like that. So this Saturday is a full day. If you want to join us at the Arvada Cemetery, it's fairly easy to get to, and I'll be putting out another email probably tomorrow or the next day about everything that's happening this Saturday. Okay, any questions? Remember, the deadline for the newsletter is December 26th. Larry, do we want to do the 50-50 before the gifts or after the gift?
You're in charge, you tell me.
I already made too many damn decisions. Okay, before. So let's go ahead and do the 50-50.
Last call for 50-50.
I couldn't even call them. Oh. What do you separate from one? $40 will go to the winner.
Oh, that's a good turnout. Why don't you have Ann pull? She looks honest.
Is that all it takes?
Yeah, I'm easy.
I don't know. 089-276.
276. 276. You got it? Helen, that's like your 5th time in the last year.
Gotta buy a ticket to win.
Yeah, I know. Okay, let's go birthdays for December. Jim Bradford is the 2nd. John Inoni is the 6th. Gene Keller is the 9th. Jimmy Alfaro is the 10th. Calvin Poland is the 13th. Gary Francis, yay, it's the 15th. Elaine Krause is the 20th. Tammy, the 21st. That's awful close to Christmas.
I know.
Must have been hell when you were growing up. Okay, Michael Lewis is the 27th, and Kurt Whitson, James Kirk, the 30th.
Captain Kirk.
Yes, Captain Kirk. And then for January, you have Charles Martin on the 8th and Howard Loomis on the 29th. Do we have any volunteers for bringing the cake in January? You want to do it? Okay, Terry, we'll have you do it.
Terry? Terry, do you remember me talking to him about never again volunteer yourself?
Okay, now let's do break for coffee and cake.
All right.
Whatever happens, you got your blue ticket. Mr. Larry there will be pulling out and telling you the number. You just need to tell him the last 3 digits, right?
Sure.
Okay.
I don't know.
And this is the way it works. So when your number's called, you raise your hand. If you're the number 1, the first one to go, you can pick anything off the table. From then on, you have to open it and show everybody what you got. So, but from then on, the next person that's drawn, they can decide to pick something from the table, or they can steal what somebody else has. Now, an item can only be stolen twice, only 2 times. 3 years ago, we didn't have any controls, and it was a nightmare. So, just twice. And let's go for it. Larry.